The delay button was pressed, and that delay button is now ending now. We learned yesterday the person who's apparently a general in the army of the Shomron for the Jewish people, called Yehu. He was now ordained, anointed as the new king of Israel, the northern kingdom, in spite of the fact that there's an existing king, the son of Achav, called Yoram, the son of Achav. However, things continue to be corrupt, evil, against Torah, against belief in one God, idolatry. And right now, what some of you may use as timing, the timing that's chosen now to do punishment to the house of Achav is the following. There was a war across the Jordan River on the Giladi Mountains, and something good came out of it, which was the union of the Judean kingdom and Israel. Who decided to do this? Achaziah, the grandson of Yehoshaphat. My grandfather went together with the kingdom of the Shomron against Damascus, Aram. I'm going to do the same thing, which sounds like a good thing to do. At the end, we lost the war, and who's injured? Yoram, the son of Achav. Yoram, the Shomron king of the Jewish people, is injured. He's resting in the Jezreel Valley, and he has a visitor. Who is the visitor? The king of Judah. It's a nice thing. He's doing the mitzvah of visiting the sick. And here, Hashem speaks to Elisha, and Elisha sends the prophet, student prophet, to do the following. Anoint Yehu and bring about punishment to the house of Achav, punishment to the former wife of Achav called Izebel, and all these things. We never learned who is Yehu. Why was he chosen? The Tanakh really doesn't tell us. What we studied yesterday, we read an essay of Rav Yigal Ariel from Nov in the Golan, that it's clear we can learn about Yehu from his vicious actions, his no restraints, his cowboy type of living, his lack of unity as far as the way he works with other people, how he rides a horse in a very wild way, and so on and so forth. In other words, we're learning about a person who is vicious, can be cruel, and we asked ourselves, why did Hashem choose him? And apparently he has the ability to go ahead and exact punishment that God wants. Now, we did see that something fortunate happens to him, and that is, number one, he's anointed secretly in a room. When he leaves the room, his co-generals ask him, what did this crazy weirdo, prophet tell you? Which just shows you that he's part of a group of people that don't really have respect, honor to the prophets of Israel. And he says, he told me this, he told me that, stop lying to us. What did he tell you? He sees he has no choice but to cough up the cards. He has to tell what really happened. He takes a chance. Why? Because maybe there are others I would like to have the job as well to be the next king. And he shares the news, and hashgacha, God's supervision, everyone supports him. However, we noticed, and that's what we're up to right now, in Pasuk, let's start reading in Yudalit, verse 14 of chapter 9. Amongst themselves they sound the shofar, and they announce that Yehu is the new king. The obvious thing he has to do is go ahead and put on a rebellion. Chapter 9, verse 14. Vayit kasher, please notice this word. It appears many times when there is a rebellion, meaning there's a joining of arms A rebellion, when it's a public rebellion, it's called a kesher. We're making a, I don't know in English what word you use. A what? A pact, a tie, with the people that are rebelling. We're talking about a rebellion. Okay, Vayitkasheyu ben Yoshaphat ben Nimshi. No, this is not Yoshaphat. That what? Not the grandfather of the president. You a spy? What? He's not the Yoshaphat, the righteous king in the line of David. There are other people with the name Yoshaphat. Now, what is the kesher, the plot? El Yoram, El against Yoram. Now, the Tanakh bothers to tell us what's going on right now at this particular time. Follow the Hebrew in the middle of 14. V'chol v'Yoram haya shomer beramot Gilad, who v'chol Yisrael mipnei Chazel melech Aram. Right now, there's a red alert. What is the red alert? That there could be a war happening, and I'm adding the word again. The Damascus kingdom of Aram, there's a threat, they may come. Who is waiting, who is getting ready for the threat? The king of the Shomron. And therefore there's a red alert. We are suspicious, we are curious, we're going to be careful. Okay, so that's what's happening nationally. Who against Chazael, the king of Aram? Pasuk Tedva, verse 15. Vayashov Yehoram HaMelech litrapei v'Yisrael. Where is Yehoram? Look, in 14 he's called Yoram, in 15 he's called Yehoram. The Tanakh moves from name to name. Both names were used. Where is Yehoram right now? He's healing. Where is he healing? In the Jezreel Valley. Why does he have to be healing? Because he was struck by the enemy army in this former war. Okay, Menachem asher yaku Aramim bilachama, when he fought at Chazal Melech Aram. Okay, that's the situation. The king is healing in the Jezreel Valley. The nation is on hot alert or high alert against infiltration from Damascus. And now, who's visiting the injured king? Second part of the pasuk. Vayomer. It doesn't even say that. No, it doesn't say that. But what did we learn in the former part of the chapter? That who's visiting? The king from the Judean king, the King David kingdom. What's his name? Achaziyahu. Okay? That'll be stated in 16, but I just wanted to remind you. Now, listen to this. The new king is anointed secretly. The king that God wants to be turned over is sick, injured, and has a visitor from the line of King David visiting him in the Jezreel Valley. Now, what's important? Any one of you ever put on a rebellion? Have you toppled any kings in your life before? You have, right? I thought so. What is instrumental? What is key for successful rebellion? People with you is one. What else? What else?
People on the inside? Treason.
Yeah, what do you mean by treason? What is necessary for a rebellion to be successful? But you said that. I'm looking for another thing which is essential. Why? If you want to right now go in, penetrate to the Jezreel Valley, as if you're an Israeli forceman. Now there aren't Israeli force. He's a general. He has soldiers. He has to keep it quiet. Why? Because if he doesn't keep it quiet, what's likely to happen? It'll be sabotaged. It'll be the fight against him. Jews are going to kill Jews. So look what Yehu says at the end of 15. Vayomer Yehu, im yeshet nafshechem, if you guys desire that I'm going to be king, I'm adding, al yetzei falit min ha'ir. No one leave the town where we are. Lalechet lagid b'Yisrael. No one go ahead and announce my new kingdom. What? Yehu is smart, but not only is he smart, He knows that for a successful war, okay, Yoram remembers in the Giladi Mountains. Where is the king? Is on the other side of the Jordan. You must act with total quietness, secrecy. Otherwise, there's going to be a war. There's going to be a sabotage. Okay? Pasuk Tet Zayin. Vayirkav Yehu vayelech Yisrael. He starts. He's joining. He's now riding his horse. It's interesting how he got the horse on the other side of the Jordan. Maybe since he's a general, he has a horse on each side. Huh? Well, he called up a cab company. Provide me a horse. What's your answer?
Maybe a bridge.
Maybe there's a bridge. Okay. The Jordan, Shlomo is saying, in many places is not wide at all, and a simple wooden bridge connects the eastern side of the Jordan River to the western. Okay, very nice answer. Let's read it again. Vayirkav Yehu, vayelech Yisrael. But remember, he's not going alone. Ki Yoram shochev shama. Yoram is lying down there. He's healing. V'chazia melech Yehuda yarad lirot et Yoram. This is the scenario as the treason, as the rebellion is about to start. Now let me ask you, all of you right now, the instructions by the prophet to Yehu to devastate the house of Achav, wipe them out, wipe out Izevil, correct? Let me ask you, the king from the line of David, Achaziah, is he also to be killed?
In the instructions.
You're saying it's not in the instructions. That's the correct answer. Could there be commentary that he's to be wiped out as well? Because right now, as the rebellion is about to begin, and God knows all the times, God wanted it to happen now. Okay? Who is visiting the king? That he's to be toppled right now. The king from David's side, Achaziah, was the grandson of Yehoshaphat. It sounds like it's a dangerous thing. Let's read. I'm going to ask any of you in a moment, could there be commentary that Achaziah has to be killed as well? What?
Would he be considered in part of Beit Achav?
Why? Why?
Because of his
mother.
mother.
The mother of Achaziah is Ataliah. Ataliah is the sister of Achav, the daughter of Omri. All of these guys are bad people. Now, when you say Beit Achav, the house of Achav, you mean the children and usually the grandchildren. So maybe there's room for commentary that the Judean king also has to be killed. You're right that it wasn't explicitly stated. Let's read. Very good. Pasuk Yud Zayin, verse 17. Vatzofeh. There's a guy in a tower. Well, what mount did you go up on? Harat Sofim. Why is it called Harat Sofim?
Good vantage point.
It's a vantage point to see, to scope, to see. There's a guy in the Jezreel Valley. He's a guard. He's probably in a tower. And what is his job? To watch. His binoculars. Vatzofeh umed al migdal. Here he is on the migdal, on the tower. Be Israel. Vayar. What does he see? Wow. At Shifat Yehu bivo'o. He recognizes there's a unit, like a battalion of Yehu. Yehu is a famous general. He doesn't know that he's the new king. And what does he announce? What? The guy looking out. The guy looking out doesn't know about the news of the rebellion. Vayomer, he declares, and maybe the king hears it down below. Shifat aniro. I see the battalion, meaning of this gedud, this battalion of a famous rider. As he comes closer, he might be able to distinguish that it's Yehu. It doesn't say yet. It does say. Yeah, apparently he's able to distinguish what type of rider. Remember, do you understand why there's a lookout man? Why is there a lookout man? There could be a war happening any moment on the other side of the Jordan River. Another war. Maybe there's someone running and giving us a message. Okay? But he notices that the way that he's cowboy riding that horse, it happens to belong to Yehu. Vayomer Yehoram, the king of the Shomron says, Kach rakav, take a rider, ushlach likrotam, send it towards him. V'yomar hashalom, and ask him, is everything okay? I mean, if the battalion is coming here, what's going on? Is there war starting? Do I have to know? Are they in retreat? What's going on here? Pasuk Yud verse 18. Okay? Remember, because of all this, so many galloping of horses he sees, from a distance there's like a lot of cloud of dust in the air. It's obvious that it's a famous general, and therefore he announces, it's this battalion that I see. Pasuk Yud verse 18. Vayelech rochev asus likrato. Okay, the rider meets him. Vayomer, ko amar melach. The king is asking, Hashalom, is everything okay? Follow the Hebrew. Vayomer Yehu, Malacha u'Shalom. What do you care if everything is okay or not? So v'lacharai, getting back at me. Notice the orders he is giving? Huh? What is he saying? He's saying, join me. Join me in the rebellion. Vayagerat sofer le'mor. Ba hamalach adheim velo shav. Malach is the rider. It's a messenger. He announces to the king down below, well, interesting. The rider that we sent out hasn't returned. This looks a little, as we say,
Smells fishy.
it smells fishy. Very good. Hasn't come back. Pasuk Yutet 19. Vayishlach rochev sushini. So he sends a second rider. Vayavorelem, he arrives to the battalion of Yehu. Vayomer, and he says, Ko amar melech. The king wants to know, Shalom? Is everything okay? Vayomer Yehu, Malacha u'Shalom. What do you care? So v'lacharai, go, get behind me. Wow. He's a very charismatic, authoritative person, and no one says, what do you mean? I imagine it is, what do you mean? He'd probably stab him to death or something. So far, the batting score of the defense forces is 0 for 2. Pasuk Kaf, verse 20. Vayagerat sofer le'mor. The sofer, the lookout guy, announces, Ba'ad aleim, our second rider arrived to Yehu's army. Velosha, but didn't come back. Vaminhag, the practice, meaning I see the direction of this group is kiminhag Yehu ben Nimshi. The way they're riding their horses, the way they're maintaining themselves is a way of what? Just like Yehu ben Nimshi. Why? Ki b'shiga'on yinhag. The way he rides his horse is not in order with a balagan. I don't know. Have you ever seen a motorcycle rider? He's riding sometimes and he's playing. He brings up the front wheel up. This guy's a cowboy. Yehu does wild things. We're not suggesting that you do these dangerous things, right? He does it b'shigon, with crazy ways. So that's how the lookout man identifies that it has to be Yehu. And 2 riders have not come back. It sounds like it's a problem. The sick king down below gives the following order. Pasuk Kavala, verse 21. Vayomer Yoram Esor, meaning tie up, gives a command. Tie up what? My horse. Vayasor echbo, with my chariot. His chariot is tied up. The king who's sick, remember, Vayetze Yoram Melech Yisrael. Vachaziel Melech Yehuda. Ish b'rechbo. What's happening, gentlemen? Huh? What's happening? Is he joining the rebellion? They're going out to greet him. Now, let's ask. Yehu, could he have arrived already? He probably put on the brakes. He's delaying. He's seeing whatever reaction there is. That's what I'm suggesting. Otherwise, if 2 riders have arrived to him and not come back, why hasn't Yehu arrived on the doorstep where the king is? I'm assuming, I'm looking into the Tanakh, that's likely that he has a strategy, and right now he's holding his pace back there or traveling slower than usual. Now, the king thinks, I'm asking all of you, what in the world The king says, saddle up my horse. He gets out of his sickbed. Yoram gets his horse, and they start traveling towards them. Why do you think to greet them? Maybe they know something. Maybe Yehu knows something that they don't know. What could have happened already?
Died.
Why are they both going out? Why would they greet him? This is a trap, of course. What?
Maybe they know that he's appointed as a king already?
No, they don't know about any. We've never read about a revolution ever here in the Shomron kingdom nor in King David's line.
Maybe they think he's coming from a victory.
Oh, very nice. Maybe Yehu ben Nimshi went to war against Chazael, and the war happened in the meantime. Another collision happened, and we won the war. So now the two kings want to go and say, wow, kol hakavod, mazal tov, thank you for fighting for Israel. I'm happy you didn't call me because I'm sick. And this is a trap. Okay? So they're both going out. Vayetzu likrat Yehu. They go out towards Yehu in verse 21. And what happens? Vayimtza'uhu bechelkat navot hayisraeli. My dear friends, in which area do they find Yoram? In an area which was famous for corruption, that Achav stole the land, had Navot killed. So Yehu holds up, interesting strategy, in the plot of land that used to belong to Navot. Navot was cheated by Achav the king and killed, and his property was taken away. Okay? It doesn't mean that this just happens to be the meeting place, but there seems to be a lot of spiritual or Torah significance. That's where they're meeting up, and this is where the revolution will start. Pasuk Kavbet, verse 22. Okay? Vayi, tantaran, kirot Yehoram et Yehu. When Yoram says Yehu, Vayomer, Hashalom Yehu? Okay? Is everything okay? Is there peace? Vayomer, Ma shalom ad znunei izevel imcha ukshafer rabim. Can you belong to a group of wicked people? Znunei izevel is a nickname for Avodah Zarah, of his mother. You belong to these terrible things. People that are wicked, they don't have shalom. Wow. Is that the way you're allowed to talk to a king? You're not. But he's purposely trying to pick a fight. You want to start up? I'm going to start up with you. He wants to pick a fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just want to see what his reaction is. Okay? He's about to attack me. Thank God. He wants to pick a fight. He says, no shalom. You guys have no shalom. Has ever Nimshi as a general said that to the king? Never. But now he's strategizing. And who is vulnerable right now?
The kings.
There's no officers with him whatsoever. He's going out to greet a general. Wow. And now the question is, what will happen and who will be killed? Pasuk Kaf Gimel 23. Okay? Vayafoch Yoram Yadav. Vayanos. Yoram is not stupid. He understands what's happening. He makes a U-turn with his horse, and he starts what? Fleeing. Vayomer El Chaziyahu, and he says to his the other king next to him, Mirma Chaziyahu. Mirma, meaning this is the act of cheating. This is the act of what is it called? Begida. How do you say begida?
Treason, treachery.
Treason. This is the act of treason, Achaziyahu, meaning run for your life. In other words, he understands, Yoram, that the life of, his life and Achaziyahu's life are in danger right away. Okay? As he's turning his horse to go back the other way, Pasuk of Dalet, V'yehu milei yado vakeshet. He's an archer. He just takes his hand with his bow and arrow. Vayachet Yoram bein zroav, in between his arms, he kills him. He smites him. Vayitzeh chetzi milibo, the arrow just leaves on the other side of his body from outside his heart. Vayichra birchbo, and now he falls down in his rechev. Why is it important for the Tanakh to describe this upcoming death this way? We learned several chapters ago when Achav died in a war against Aram. And the way he fought the war was that this God wanted to do punishment with Achav and have him die. However, what did Achav do in the war, even though he was struck by a bow? He tried to show endless courage. He tried to show that he's not falling. And he bled to death eventually, and he died, but only after he kept on going on in the war, and he showed his fellow soldiers, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. So he was very heroic, very strong Achav, who has a lot of credit, but who has a lot of problems. And that's the way he died. Le'umat zot, in contrast, what do we see here?
His son ran away.
His son is in the process of running away, and he is shot, struck by a bow right away. And there's no heroic standing. Remember, Achav could have gone to the infirmary to be treated by doctors in the middle of the war. He didn't want to. He didn't want to lower the morale of his own soldiers. That's the father. The son here is struck immediately, and now he's crouching and dying, apparently. Pasuk Kafeh 25, let's read it. Vayomer el bitkar shalisho. Yehu says to a guy called Bidkar, who is his minister, Sa hashlicheu, pick him up and throw him. We mean with the act of honor or with the act of disgrace? Absolutely. Sa hashlicheu, throw him, his dead body, meaning bechelkat sdei navot Yisraeli. Wow. Why? There's a prophecy that Yehu remembers hearing from Eliyahu Navi. Listen to this. Ki zechor ani va'ata. I remember years ago, I and you, what were we doing? Rochvim tzmadim. We were riding next to one another, okay, in the area, okay. And what happened? Acharei Achav aviv. Acharei Achav, your father, is talking still to him, to the king who's about to die. Vashem nasa alav et hamasaza. The words that were stated to Eliyahu Navi, that Achav and his family will die because of the bloodshed of Navot. They took his property away, and they of Elijah, that something terrible will happen to Achav and his family because of this act. So right now, it's interesting that both the son, Yoram, and the new king, Yehu, to the of Eliyahu in this place. Yoram, the son of Achav, he's dying, and his body is being thrown here totally. So the word Masa, do you read it? Mem, Sin Aleph, is one of 10 different languages of prophecy. And usually the word Masa is a difficult prophecy. So I remember this difficult prophecy, Nevuah Kasha, that was told by Eliyahu. And this din, this judgment, is now being done right now. He continues, Pasuk Avav, Im Lo. Remember, if you see the words Im Lo, it's likely to be a Nevuah. It is not a Nevuah, a Shavuah, the language of an oath in God's name. Yehu takes an oath. It's interesting, I want you to notice that as the death of Yoram, the son of Achav, is being brought, what does Yehu account for? Okay, his death is because of God's prophecy that he has to be killed and thrown here. I want you to notice, we're going to learn about this a lot, that when Yehu does judgment, he justifies it because this is what God said to the prophet. When we get to Achaziyahu, I'm going to ask all of you, when he tries to kill Achaziyahu, does he or does he not state that this is the prophecy from God to have him killed? Okay? Imlo, He's now taking an oath in God's name. What is the imlo? Okay, language of a shvuah. Et dmei navot. Hear it? The blood of navot. He's talking about the gzar din. This decree that the blood of navot is going to be taken. That dmei banav, and the blood of his children that he could have had, that it was killed. Ra'iti emesh ne'um Hashem. I saw this. I reviewed this prophecy. I'm swearing to God that what I'm doing right now, I'm paying back the house of Achav what they're deserving. What do they deserve? Revenge. The blood of Navot that was killed. The blood of his children that were killed. V'shilamti lecha. He's now still talking to the king. Was about to, how do you say? He's goseis. He's about to die. What is it called? Your last seconds, you're coughing it up. You're about to die.
He's in critical condition.
Okay, we call it goseis in Hebrew. Okay, I'm paying you back. This is the revenge. B'chelka zot, in this property, Ne'um Hashem, God says, V'ata, and now he tells his minister, Sa, lift him up. Hashlicheu b'chelka kidvar Hashem. He throws him away. Interesting that the word Hashlicheu b'chelka kidvar Hashem is now a second time. Question I don't have an answer to. Why is he saying it twice? Throw him into this chelka, into this property. It was already said once. Not clear to me why he says twice. It's now done. Vengeance is done. And now we're surprised maybe. Pasuk of Zayin, verse 27. V'chazia melech Yehuda ra'ah. Who's watching all of this? Who knows the distance? If it's 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, he sees that his buddy, meaning the king of the Shomron, that they went to war together and he was visiting him, is now not only killed, but his body is thrown out of disgrace. And this is vengeance for Navot. Achazia melech Yehuda ra'ah. What does he do? Vayanos. Derech Beit Hagan. Why is he fleeing? Why is he fleeing? Oh, he thinks he's going to be killed also. He was in the Jezreel Valley, and now, if anyone knows good geography, if you travel from Jezreel Valley going south, you get to a Jewish city called Ganim, which today is a terror city called Jenin, Jenin. Here it's called Gan. Gan is part of the name Ganim. It's a Hebrew city in the Shomron. He starts fleeing towards Ganim. And now we see a problem. Vayirdof acharav Yehu. He starts chasing after him. Vayomer, and he declares, Gamoto haku. He tells his officers, kill this guy as well. El Merkava, in his chariot. B'malei gur asher at yivlam, in a certain place. And where does the king flee to? Vayanos Megiddo. I've heard of the town of Megiddo? Not far from Afula, not far from the Gilboa Mountains. Megiddo, in this time, was considered a fortified city, meaning a city encompassed with strong walls. And we can understand why he, the king, would want us run away to there, because he might find security, safety inside the fortified city. Now, it does say Vayamacham, that he died there. We're not going to look, maybe another time we'll have time to open up Divrei Yamim. There's a long story. Does he die now? Does he die days later? We're not going to get into it here. The prophet Yirmiyahu, writing this account, decided to write that he fled to Megiddo and he died there. How it exactly happened is more detailed in the book of Divrei Ayamim. Okay? It could be that he was shot at, that he was injured, and by the time he arrives to the city, he dies there. What? Now, I want to stop here and ask you the following question. Let's review what we said before. Was Elisha, did he prophesy the killing of Achaziah the king from the house of David or not? We didn't see it. We saw that the prophet tells Yehu, devastate, kill, wipe out the house of Achav. But okay, so on the one hand, you could say commentary. What's the commentary? Achaziyahu is the grandson. Achaziyahu is the son of a woman that she is from the family of Achav. She's the sister of Achav, and she's terrible as well. Atalia, we're going to learn about her. But let me ask you a question. I heard this from Rav Mordechai Franco in the Golan. He says this brilliant question. Had Achaziyahu remained in Yerushalayim, had he not come at this opportunity to visit the sick king of the Shomron, do you see that Yehu is going to travel to Yerushalayim to kill Achaziyahu or not? We could actually prove it that when, after Achaziyahu dies, and there's a new king or queen, Ataliyahu, do we see that Yehu travels to Yerushalayim with an army to go to war against him? To kill her? No. So it's questionable. Is it the right thing what he's doing? Is it now the right thing that he's doing? Or should we even ask, is the time that he's doing it the proper thing? Let's ask ourselves. If Achaziyahu would have arrived to Yerushalayim and he does want to kill him, what's likely to happen? Civil war. Jews against Jews. Could it be that Yehu is thinking, this is the opportunity time to kill Achaziyahu because he's the son of an Achavian family, and if I kill him now, what will I save? Bloodshed up ahead. I'm going to kill him now in the area, and I'm going to save bloodshed. This is possible strategizing that Yehu is thinking about. Aleph, you're right. Maybe there's no clear instruction to kill him. Bet, if I kill him, maybe it's meaningful since he's part of the house of Achav. Gimel, the timing seems to be right. Because if I don't kill him now, then it might lead to a civil war, Jews killing Jews, later on. Okay? With this, we'll continue with our next year, the next time. Stay tuned.